At least 250 people still unaccounted for in recent South Korean ferry that capsized latest last week. It's 1 p.m. in Banjul, 3 p.m. in Johannesburg, and 4 p.m. in Nairobi, where the President Uhuru Kenyatta today left for Qatar for 3 days. Elsewhere in the Gambia, the president is currently on his annual nationwide tour, and at this hour, President Jammeh is in the Central River region of the country for a daybreak to witness the Christian feast of Easter Monday. These and other stories coming your way. I am Mutala Sise. Hello and welcome, and to start with, the Boston Marathon returns today, Monday, where over 1 million people are expected to line up in the route in a show of defiance and to honor the victims and survivors of the attack that killed 3 people and wounded more than 260 others. More than 3,500 police, doubling the number in 2013, plus members of 60 different local, state and federal security agencies are deployed to protect the race. Across the country, people could be seen wearing Boston Strong shirts with banners bearing the mantra proudly displayed in stores, restaurants, and hotels.
Alyssa DeSissa is the 2013 Boston Marathon champion.
Meanwhile, the first bodies from inside the submerged ferry that capsized were discovered yesterday, and at least 250 people still unaccounted for in the recent South Korean ferry that capsized late last week. The 6,825-ton seawall capsized and sank last Wednesday morning, in which more than 300 were high school students headed for the holiday island of Jeju. The confirmed death toll from the disaster now stands at 46, with over 250 people still missing. Meanwhile, the president of the Gambia, Professor Dr. Alhaji Yahya Jammeh, is currently on a 21-day nationwide tour. At this hour, the president is currently in the Central River region of the country for a daybreak to witness the Christian feast of Easter Monday. The tour, which began this past Thursday, is a constitutional mandate for the president to travel across the country to meet with the people in their communities, know their problems and needs. The annual countrywide tour, commonly known as Dialogue with the People's Tour, takes the president to visit project sites across the country. The tour also enabled the president to assess the level of agricultural production in the country's drive towards the attainment of food self-sufficiency by 2016. President Jammeh, during the past days, visited rice fields in Jurunku before proceeding to Jokadu, Karantaba, Pakang, Tabana, and Dasilame, all in the north bank of the country. Yesterday, he also visited an 8-hectare farm in Balangar and rice fields in Chamin Nyadija before visiting the ferry landing site in Barajali. Professor Jammeh also visited a 35-hectare tidal irrigation rice field in Wasu, as mentioned in the tour itinerary. The 21 days dialogue with the people tour will conclude on the 7th May 2014. Meanwhile, it's officially clear that only 2 candidates will be competing in the upcoming Egypt's presidential elections after the deadline for application was reached on Sunday. The former army chief Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and leftist politician Hamdin Sabashi are in the running for the country's presidential poll. General Sisi led the overthrow of Islamist President Mohamed Morsi last July after mass opposition protests. Mr. Sabasi submitted the required documents to the election committee after gathering over 31,000 signatures, his campaign said on Saturday. General Sisi presented his documents last week after gathering 200,000 signatures. Egypt's presidential election laws requires at least 25,000 statements from citizens who support the candidates in at least 15 governed areas nationwide. Sabasi's bid is seen as a challenge for Sisi, who enjoys rather massive popularity since he led the ouster of former Islamist President Mohamed Morsi last July. The vote is set for 26 and 27 May 2014, with runoff in June if no candidate has the absolute majority in the elections. Meanwhile, the revolutionary leader of the Islamic Republic of Iran, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has criticized the West for its deviant view towards women, noting that the problems women are facing in the modern world are the consequences of the West's wrong attitude towards women's status and dignity. He made this remark in Tehran during a meeting with hundreds of women professors, seminary teachers, and intellectuals. Ayatollah said the West's materialistic approach has paved the way for an oppressive and regressive attitude towards women. He highlighted the difference between men and women, noting that despite what the West claims, equality between men and women is not fair. Based on this wrong attitude, in Western societies, men are allowed to abuse women, and women who want to be in the limelight and reach high positions, they must try to please men, he said. Commenting on the West's attitude towards women, the leader said the Western philosophy must be confronted. The most recent U.S. human rights reports, however, critiques Iran for failing to take actions to stop human rights trafficking in the Islamic Republic. Still to come in the next 60 seconds, President Kenyatta, accompanied by high-power delegation, left for Qatar for a 3-day state visit. We'll be back with this news after this short break. Stay with us.
While as the Western media turn attention to Ukrainian crisis leaving the war-torn Syria,
if you want to plan for today, plan tomorrow.
Over 95,000 refugees from 610 million euros in microfinancial aid.
Barbecue calling has been finally inaugurated at profound. President Uhuru Kenyatta and First Lady Margaret Kenyatta today left for Qatar for a 3-day state visit. According to a release sent from the office of the President, has indicated that the President, as part of this visit, will meet His Highness the Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, and senior government officials of the state of Qatar to discuss various avenues of cooperation between the two countries. Kenya's energy security agenda will feature prominently. At the meeting with the Emir, discussions will center on the way of bolstering bilateral ties between Kenya and Qatar. These good and robust relations date as back as the 15th century when Arab traders were regular visitors to the East African coast for business and trade. President Kenyatta's visit will further deepen a relationship that has grown from strength to strength over the years. President Kenyatta will also hold talks with the Qatari Energy Minister Mohammed Saleh Al-Sadar. The meeting will focus on how the government of Kenya and Qatar, in conjunction with private sectors, can cooperate in mutually beneficial energy projects. Qatar possesses demonstrated expertise in energy production. The President will encourage Qatar's interest in Kenya's booming energy sector while seeking to benefit from the sharing of expertise and capital between the two countries. In Qatar, the President will tour the current port and the new port in Doha, which is under construction. Qatar's Ports Authorities is among the world's most effective managers of maritime installations. Kenya will seek to benefit from its expertise in the development, management, and modernization of Lamu and Mombasa ports. The President will also meet Qatari Transport Minister Jassim Saif Al-Sulaiti to exchange ideas on how the two countries can work together to improve their transport sectors. President Kenyatta, accompanied by high-power delegation, among them Cabinet Secretaries of Foreign Affairs, Energy, Transport, National Treasury, and Adan Mohammed of the Ministry of Industrialization. Still on Kenya, the Air Force has been training its officers on aquatic survival in a course that is aimed at widening the soldiers' scope in service. The course known as Advanced Water Survival makes the Air Force officers better equipped in water, although they may not necessarily be encountering many such scenarios. For Africa to remain relevant, we need to adequately educate our people, as it is through education that we can unlock the potentials of our youth to enable Africa to compete globally. and create jobs in the new knowledge economy. These are the words of Goodluck Jonathan, President of Nigeria, as the country is preparing to host the World Economic Forum on Africa to be held from the 7th to the 9th May in the commercial capital of Abuja. Nigeria, sub-Saharan Africa's second largest economy and most populous nation, with over 160 million inhabitants, already plays a crucial role in advancing the continent's growth. As the foremost gathering on the continent, the 24th World Economic Forum on Africa will bring together regional and global leaders to discuss innovative structural reforms and investments that can sustain the continent's growth while creating jobs and prosperity for all its citizens. Nigeria plays a crucial role in advancing the continent's growth, yet it is also emblematic of the challenges of converting natural wealth into solutions that addresses persistent social changes. Africa's remarkable growth trajectory is projected to remain above 5% in 2014, with West Africa the fastest growing sub-region representing the continent's largest business opportunity. And to sports now, one of Africa's finest athletic, Mariam Aliou Selsui, has been officially suspended for 8 years following a positive doping control at a meeting in 2012. Selsui, a one-time silver winner. Sajo Sambu has more on that report.
Moroccan 1,000-meter runner Mariam Aliou Selsui has been officially suspended for 8 years following a positive doping control at a meeting in 2012, according to the Moroccan Athletics Federation. The Court of Arbitration for Sport has confirmed the decision of the Moroccan Athletics Federation to suspend the athletics from taking part in any athletics competition for a period of 8 years. Selsui, 30, who won silver medal at the 2012 World Indoor Championship, tested positive for a banned diuretic in a sample taken in Paris 2012, in which she was banned from the Summer Olympics in London. In 2009, World Athletics final in Berlin, Selsui withdrew from the 1,000 meters final after failing a drug test for EPO. She was suspended for 2 years by the IAAF. The 30-year-old improved the world season best record in the 1,500 meters with 3 minutes 56 seconds during the 7th stage of the Diamond League Athletics in France. Sajo Sambu for iAfrica TV Sports.
That story by Saji Sambu there brings us to the end of this edition of News Desk, but we'll be right back in the next hour for another bulletin, and until then, stay tuned.